Thank you very much, Mr. Deb Jyoti Prakash, for that very informative presentation. Just like in other aspects of business, balance is very important in cybersecurity. To make it work, you have to make sure that these different aspects are being taken care of equally. Now, to tell us more about this, we have Mr. Nilesh Jain, the Vice President, Southeast Asia and India of Trendmicro. Through his customer and channel interactions, he contributes in positioning Trendmicro as a preferred enterprise security company.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for inviting me for this session, and I wish we were doing this session physically, but nevertheless, at least we are doing virtually. I hope everything is good there in Philippines and all of you are playing safe and working safe in this environment. So here I'm going to talk about how things have changed in last maybe 2 years, 1.5, 2 years since the lockdown happened. A lot of things outside the world has changed. The way we kept on doing business has changed, and so has Trendmicro changed a lot in terms of products and technology. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. This is the first one. So World Economic Forum, during one of the event, they did survey from all those attendees, asking them what are your biggest concern with COVID-19, and of course the obvious one is global economy slowdown. 66% of those people, 52% said, yeah, they are concerned about the bankruptcies and business. But surprisingly, 50% of the customers said they are worried about cyber attacks. And now remember, these are the business leaders. We are not talking about CIOs and CISOs here. They're all board members and the CEOs and the chairperson of the large organization. They are immensely worried about cyber attacks. And obviously, the reason is cyber attack has increased tremendously in last 1.5, 2 years. 70% increase in ransomware attack in Asia Pacific region. Globally, big surge in attacks happening. And because of that, a lot of investment has been going on cybersecurity side. And let's see how the perspective for 2021 has changed. One of the biggest change that happened is customer journey is reinvented. A lot of users who were not even using mobile devices before, they started doing banking or they started doing financial transactions on their mobile devices. A lot of people in the rural area, villager area, probably a lot of ignorant, if I can say so, not illiterate, but a lot of ignorant people from IT background side, they started doing a lot of critical transactions online. And that has become a big boom for attackers. They can start attacking illiterate or ignorant people who are doing those transactions online. That led to something very critical, which is zero trust model. And we were all talking about data privacy. And my personal view on data privacy is when we talk about your data should remain confined in your organization, should not move away. You don't want to share data with anyone. Practically, that's not going to happen in the digital world, in the digital economy. Recently, like just last year in 2020, Singapore issued a digital banking license to some organizations. So digital banking happening, Malaysia has invited applications, around 29 organizations has applied for it. They are going to issue 5 digital banking licenses in Malaysia. So this is a reality. The banking, which was very traditional and conventional way of doing transactions, is moving to digital banking, digital world. The only way it works is when you are sharing the data with e-commerce company, with third party, with payment gateway providers. You're going to share the data. That's not going to stop anywhere. What you are here to protect, you're here to protect the identity of the people, and that's what a lot of users and customers should be worried about. That's number one from the customer side. From the cybersecurity side, a lot of things are moving away from user name, password based authentication or the device-based authentication to the user's authentication, identity-based authentication. That's something which is happening globally, a lot of threats on zero trust model. Digital platform, as I was talking about, most of the traditional banks moving to digital banking, a lot of unconventional organization, either telecom, e-commerce or other organizations, they are moving to digital platforms. So that's where the risk has risen. Cloud adoption is becoming big thing, and for a lot of traditional organizations who probably are not ready yet, the big thrust is going on doing application modernization, and that's a lot of investment is going, because they still have very legacy monolithic applications which are not designed to work in cloud environment, which are not designed to work in cloud environment, and they are doing a lot of investment to modernize their application. Security first design for all platform. When they are doing application modernization, when you are adopting new technologies, they are also making sure that security is involved. The security is moving to left, which is during the development side of the software, security is considered. Risk from the third-party collaborators has increased, and we have seen a lot of attacks happen because supply chain partner was compromised. So your cybersecurity posture, policy, and process are not confined only to you. It's actually getting extended to your supply chain partner. They are coming under the surveillance. They are coming under the compliance for cybersecurity policy if they really want to be your partner. You are seeing a lot of financial attacks, but you are seeing a lot of bank-related attacks, and obvious reason is, as I said, a lot of ignorant and new users are started doing the mobile transactions, and they don't know how to play safe and how to work safe on the mobile devices, and that is leading to a lot of investment on new technology to do a fraud prevention. So these are all things happening there. Now come back to cybersecurity world. As I was talking about, because of the digital first initiative, a lot of banks and large manufacturing organizations wants to develop mobile app to do the transaction with customer or deliver few of the services and value to customer. A lot of investment happening on modernization of the applications. Lot of things happening around the compliance when you are working in the very, very tight industry, which is either HIPAA compliance or any other PCI DSS compliance. That is leading the industry to invest in some of the key cybersecurity technology. What we have seen globally and in North America, a lot of investment is happening on SOC upgradation, which is investing into a SOC platform, making sure that your SOC platform is actually going to the next level, having a more response and remediation capabilities, and we'll talk about this today later on. But second big investment is happening on threat intelligence platform, which is feeding to your SOC, but is also giving a good information intelligence to your IR and red teaming exercising. CASB, of course, a lot of investment on SASE side, on CASB side happening. EDR as a standalone solution, there are a lot of buzz around it. A lot of investment has gone by. You see in North America, in Asia Pacific region, a lot of big organizations have deployed EDR, which is now moving to get merged with something called XDR and zero trust model. So if you hear any of the cybersecurity seminar or you are attending any of the events there, you will hear any of this word for sure now. Either zero trust model, SASE, CASB, threat intelligence platform, or XDR, and these are all the investments, these are all the big cybersecurity investment opportunities available. Mind you, all of them are getting delivered through cloud, and most of them are in the SaaS model, and that is where we are seeing a big momentum globally. North America, of course, doing a lot of investment on SASE side, on XDR side, on zero trust model side, which is catching a wave in Asia Pacific region. We already started seeing a very, very large banks investing into high-end CASB and SASE solutions, leading to an XDR as well. So we'll talk about that. But coming back on threat landscape, we are talking about it globally. As we are saying, there is a big surge in the attacks. The top 3 attacks that we have seen globally are phishing attack, ransomware attack, and business email compromise. This is very, very dominant globally, and Asia Pacific is of no exception. We are seeing ransomware attack increase manifold in Asia Pacific region, followed by phishing attack and followed by business email compromise. We just did a threat roundup report a couple of months back, which categorically talks about what exactly is happening in Asia Pacific. Also have a good data on Philippines. If you guys are interested, we can share you that copy, so you can get in touch with our marketing team and they can give you a more detailed information about that. So let's come back to this. We were all talking about different landscape on the cybersecurity side. You have different attacks happening, a lot of investment areas that you might be exploring, but it's very, very difficult to decide where do you want to start from. And most of time we advise you to look at where you are currently on your digital transformation journey. Is it meeting with your business objective? You're not doing digital transformation for the sake of doing it. Are you doing digital transformation because you want to be operationally efficient, or you want to create a new value delivery channel, or you want to launch a new products line, or you want to be much more cost effective? Whatever may be your business objective, it has to get aligned with your cybersecurity. Your cybersecurity investment has to get aligned with your business objective. Your organizational structure, the vertical that you are in, the compliances, all of this factor helps you decide where do you start first. From my experience, whenever I have spoken to most organizations, including banking, including financial institutions, including manufacturing and all, the biggest investment that I am seeing today in this part of the world is XDR, data lake consolidation, followed by CASB, followed by SASE, and so forth. So we'll talk about it on what exactly is going on. And we were talking about EDR. There is a lot of buzz around it. If you look at this, and this is a Gartner's hype cycle from 2020 on the endpoint side. If you look at this, from Gartner, they clearly says that if you are investing into managed detection MDR or extended detection and response XDR, that's not only the investment which is coming up very, very solid. But if you look at the dark blue circle, which clearly says if you do invest into this, the investment will be relevant for next 5 to 10 years. If you look at on the right hand side, it says how relevant that particular investment would be. If you happen to be investing into a standalone solution for EDR, it was worthwhile. It was doing its own job earlier. But if you look at this slide, which clearly says EDR is actually relevant, but is hitting the plateau. It's not going to be a special independent category in future. In fact, it's going to get merged with unified endpoint security, comprehensive endpoint security solution. So you won't be seeing a EDR as a special category in future, which is already happening. But if you look at, this is the latest one, and this is from the security operations, from the SOC team from 2021. Same thing. If you look at the EDR here, actually from 20 to 2021, the landscape has suddenly changed. Actually, EDR is hitting the plateau much faster than we thought of. We thought it will be hitting plateau in next 2 to 3 years, but you see flattening up, and from the light blue, it's becoming completely white, which means it hitting plateau, which means it's merging, it's becoming irrelevant as in standalone category very, very soon. So if you happen to invest few $100,000 in standalone EDR solution, probably may not be worthwhile, because the same solution is getting merged with unified security and coming probably at a fraction of the price. But where you should be investing in as a cybersecurity consultant or owner or CIO or CISO or head of IT, the biggest investment that if you are looking at should be a SOAR platform. If you see, it's declining, but it's going to be relevant for next 5 to 10 years. Breach detection and attack simulation capabilities, pen testing, autonomous pen testing and red teaming. Of course, these are the professional service led tool that you should be investing in. You should be working with some of the organizations who are expert into this. But one of the things that you can see, XDR again here in 2021 in the hype cycle of security operation is dark solid blue, coming very, very strongly and going to remain strongly relevant for next 5 to 10 years. So while we all talk about lot of cybersecurity solutions available, and you might be confused in which direction you want to take and where do you want to start first, EDR or SASE or CASB, of course a lot depends on your immediate priority. But if you are really on the fringe, or if you are really on the fence to think whether I really want to go on XDR side or no, whether it's a marketing gimmick, whether that category will remain relevant, I think you don't have to worry much. This is where the industry is moving. This is where most of the cybersecurity players are investing in. You have to take a baby steps, if not very, very quickly, to move towards XDR. Now, how do you achieve XDR? And everything starts from the SOC side there. And let me take you back, and people keep on asking question on why is XDR relevant? I still have SOC. Is XDR, do we still require XDR? I still have my data lake. I still have my SOAR. Lot of question being asked. So let me just go back on this side. All of you know this. These are the pitfalls of SOC and legacy SIM solution, which gives you millions of alerts, but lot of investigation forensic capabilities are missing there, and they were left for you to do manually. So if you look at the alert floods, make it very hard to evaluate incident automatically. Collecting data and further investigation has been a problem, and that's where the EDR started playing some role there. Making the correct modification of and configuring security tools has been a challenge. There has been a lot of challenge. If you look at historically, SOC team and SOC industry and cybersecurity industry coexisted for last 15-20 years, worked together but never integrated together, never complemented to an extent the way it's complementing today. So let me explain you how it's going. And this is, before I go on how things have merged, let's look at the few pitfalls of existing SIM and what they should be doing. Number one, most of the SOC solution or SIM solution should move beyond Excel-based manual investigation to automated analytics-based investigation. You should complement to your IR team, your RAID team by giving more intelligence. You should not only depend on the threat intelligence or alerts coming from your own organization, which is what traditional SOC has been doing. It should be getting alerts from the global. It should be able to consume the intelligence from outside, which is where the threat intelligence platform comes in play. And then it should be able to automate your actions, your remediation action. And these are the things that we have been missing on. So let me just go back again. We were talking about this, and this very interesting thing. SOC has been existing, but the biggest problem with the SOC has been they work in silo. They take all the feeds from your endpoint device, your network device, your email, your web, your server device. It all comes to your SIM solution. The analytics, correlation, investigation, everything has been left to SIM to do it, which was very poor, right? And that's why it was becoming very cumbersome to make any sense out of it. That is one problem cybersecurity industry is trying to solve by having an XDR in place, wherein you have one more layer added between your SOC and your security operations or security devices, do a correlation of all the events and data and give you only and only relevant information back to your SIM. So that biggest problem that SIM did have, XDR is trying to solve. But one more problem with XDR, the limitation with cybersecurity industry has been it mostly native in nature. It only works with their own solution. So if Trendmicro solution, I will only work and integrate with Trendmicro vis-a-vis with a lot of other cybersecurity solution. Their ability to integrate and coexist with third-party solution has been limited, and so is their capability to respond and remediate on the solution which are beyond your own control. So Trendmicro or Palo Alto or Checkpoint or any other cybersecurity vendors does amazingly well when they have their own solution on your endpoint, server, or email. But the moment you have to deal with third-party solutions, the response and integration capability has been quite poor. This is where the SOC industry started developing SOAR, right? So this is where the very good, I would say, kind of dating started happening between SOC solution provider or SIM solution started developing SOAR to take care of the limitation which is arising from cybersecurity, and cybersecurity companies started developing XDR to take care of the limitation arising from SIM. And that's how you see the SIM and SOAR, the XDR and SOAR started working together. So we'll go much more detail on how the SOC progression has happened. Look at this. The traditional SOC, and most of you must have this SOC, wherein you have an SIM solution in place. It takes the feed from your endpoint, from your CASB, from your network devices, from firewall and all, and gives that feeds back to SIM, and a lot of investigation capability has been left for SIM to do, which was quite poor. So that was the L1 level of SOC, and a lot of manual. That's why we were doing a lot of manual investigation. That's why you have to have a big team doing a 24/7 monitoring, analysis, and respond. And by the time they really make some sense out of it, the incident might have gone to a next level, and that's why it was becoming very, very ineffective. Now what we have seen last 3 to 4 years, big investment has gone on building the data lake. And EDR has done a fantastic job. It added this automated investigation capability inside the SOC, which actually reduced the time to respond and time to detect to a greater extent, from few hours and few days to few minutes and few seconds. So amazing work, and that's why a lot of vendors started building their own data lake. A lot of large enterprises started building their own data lake, which does log aggregation and retention, which does security estate logs convergence, and you start doing a use-based engineering there. So this is where we've seen the investment happen in last 2 to 3 years. But now currently where we are seeing a big investment happening on security automation, right? And where the SOAR is playing a fantastic role. And SOAR is actually having a standardized playbook. The moment you identify some events based on your cybersecurity policy, which is very customized to your organization or which is very generalized for any cybersecurity operations, the playbooks are created customized way or standardized way, and based on that, the response capabilities are automated. So earlier, one of the automation of investigation was taken care of by the EDR solution, but the automation of incident handling is been taken care of by the SOAR, and that's why we are seeing a lot of investment. And this is where currently we are. Lot of large enterprises, banking organization, large manufacturing and service organization are deploying or upgrading their SIEM to SOAR capability to have an automation response capability. But what we are going to see in future, and few of the places we started seeing this happening, advanced analytics going to lead the way for you to have more comprehensive understanding on what exactly is going on in your organization. And this is where we start seeing a data lake consolidation happening. You remember IBM, Trendmicro, Accenture, FireEye, Checkpoint, all of them build up their own data lake. So is large enterprises. Large banks started building up their own data lake. And for the customer like you would say, hey, I don't want to depend on data lake of any of the vendor. I don't want to depend on Microsoft, AWS, or Trendmicro, or anyone. I will have my own data lake, and I want all of you, all of my vendor ecosystem to feed the data back to me. So all of your data lakes should integrate and give information and intelligence to my data lake. I will only depend on my data lake. So this is where the future investment is going on, wherein we are doing a data lake consolidation, which will lead to very, very faster, automated, and much deeper investigation and IR capabilities. You will be able to see something which you haven't seen in your organization with your peers, because you have a full of data coming from different vendors. So you can see a lot which you couldn't see earlier. That will lead to one more thing, and this is the future of SOC that we see in next 3 to 4 years, is predictive analytics. And this is where you will achieve end-to-end automation, right from identifying the threat in very advanced level to be able to remediate, response, and contain is going to be completely done manually. And that's where the AI and ML is going to come in. And you can always ask, who is going to decide particular action, because some action might be false positive, some action requires some some action requires very special power of taking decision, and that's where the autonomous learning of playbook and evolving playbook will come in play. So this is where the future of SOC we see, and this is a journey that Trendmicro is traveling. This is where Trendmicro is investing in. Now look at this. We are all talking about XDR, and XDR is so relevant, and XDR only you can achieve when you have a good consolidation done, you have good integration. But from the CIO perspective, like most of you might be dealing with, endpoint is very, very important. In most large organizations, there is a separate endpoint security team. Their job is to bind best-in-breed solution, because remember, the weakest point of your network is endpoint. This is where a lot of attack propagation happens. So you cannot leave it loose. You have to invest into one of the best security solution, probably a leader there, and you have to ask them to buy the best. Email, 92 to 93% of the attacks actually start from the email. First point of attack is email, so you cannot leave it loose. So you again want to buy the best of the breed email security solution. Network, you want to have a visibility. You want to segregate between critical network and non-critical network. You want to create your DMZ zone. You want to have your IoT environment connected to your internet environment. So a lot of things happening. You want to have a good visibility of what exactly is happening in your network. So you want to have a good network security solution. And of course, your crown jewel is your servers, which are residing in your data center with AWS, Azure, or Google. And you want to make sure the end of the day they are all protected. So look at all this: endpoint, email, network, cloud. All of them are very, very critical, and you want to buy best of the breed solutions to protect them. And the biggest question, biggest decision making that most of the CIOs dealing today is buying between best of the breed versus consolidation. On the name of consolidation, they don't want to get locked down to one particular vendor. And on the name of best of the breed, they don't want to end up having 35, 40 different cybersecurity vendors in their organization, wherein it will become impossible to achieve XDR, right? Wherein your automated response capability will be pretty much limited if you have to manage such a vast ecosystem in your organization. So this is the dilemma that most of the CIOs are dealing with, and what they have to do is they have to strike a balance. They still have to choose the product which are good, but they still have a capability of interoperability, integration, and work together. And this is where Trendmicro has changed the approach. This is where Trendmicro comes in play. Trendmicro has changed from a product organization to platform organization, because we believe that we have to not only give you best of the breed solution for everything, but simultaneously we have to give a freedom back to you to choose whatever you want to buy. We help you to do consolidation, and we still help you to do XDR capabilities in future. And what is a platform-based approach? Platform-based approach is we design solution which is open API architecture based, which can do a seamless integration, which can do a scalable and faster deployment in your organization, coexisting with your existing ecosystem, which can help you deliver better visibility and give you automated response capability. And most important to that is it can protect your investment. You cannot keep on investing every year in new technologies without achieving the results out of it. You have to deploy a technology or product which you at least know that you're going to be using for next 5 to 7 years. So this is where Trendmicro has invested into something called Vision 1. And what it does is it integrates with Trendmicro's Apex 1, which is our endpoint security solution, Network 1, which is our network security solution, including our tipping point IPS and anti-APT solution, and also of course integrate with Cloud 1, wherein we are globally leader with around 29 to 30% market share. And mind you, we are leaders in Apex 1 and endpoint security for straight 12 years, Gartner leaders. We are Gartner leaders in Network 1, and we are Gartner leaders in Cloud 1. And all these solutions coming together, working together, delivering you Vision 1. So not only it helps you integrate all network, endpoint, server, telemetry, and give you correlated intelligence to see what's happening in your organization, give you ability to respond that almost in real time, but it also coexists with your ecosystem. So whatever firewall or DDoS or CASB or whatever other security solution you are using, it integrates with that. It also integrates and give you global threat intelligence from Trendmicro side. It also support and integrate with any of the recognized cloud platform, Google, or any of the advanced services from AWS, Microsoft, Google. And it actually integrate back to your SIM solutions. The way it works is, let's say for example, you have endpoint, server, cloud, email, network, no matter whichever product of Trendmicro you are using, it feeds back to Trendmicro data lake based on the predefined analytics and threat intelligence engine that we have. It does the detection, it gives you a visibility, it gives you remediation action, so that you can immediately take action on Trendmicro devices if it's required to. But if you have to take an action or you have to do containment on third-party solution, it gives the feedback to your SOAR so that it can be immediately blocked or action can be taken. and it's completely open API architecture based. So the biggest problem that XDR is solving, remember this, when we are talking about your traditional conventional SOC, takes feed from anything and everything from your network, and lot of correlation investigation depends on it, which becomes a humongous task. You add layer of XDR, it only gives you relevant actionable intelligence to your SIEM and SOAR, which you can feed it back to your existing ecosystem and take almost in no time, you can take action immediately. And this is where the industry is overall moving. We can talk a lot on how Trendmicro XDR is leading to. I can tell you one thing, if you are looking for a solution, and this is something which we say very proudly, the true XDR, which has a leadership in endpoint, email, network, and server, and all of them coming together delivering you XDR is the actual XDR, which is what Trendmicro is talking about, and we'll talk about it later. Trendmicro has already launched something called Zero Trust Risk Insight, which is kind of security assessment tool, which is part of our solution, kind of red teaming tool. If you want to really see the health of your organization, you want to see whether you already breach or some attack is going on, or simply you are interested to see the health of your network, this tool is available on selected basis for few accounts. If you really want to do this exercise, reach out to our team back in Philippines, and they will be happy to do this analysis, and doesn't cost anything right now. And we are also launching Zero Trust Secure Access, which will be launched probably end of October, but it's available for preview on the request basis. If you're interested, you can reach out to us and we can have an exclusive session for you on that one. So this is all part of Vision 1 as we're talking about, and Vision 1 is Trendmicro's XDR, which is a platform which integrates with Trendmicro solution and also integrate with third-party solution through SIEM and SOAR. And this is what I was talking about. The true XDR should be the one who integrate best of the breed solution and still give you consolidation. So Trendmicro's endpoint, email, cloud, EDR and network, all of them, if you look at this from Forrester, but you can check IDC, you can check Gartner, we probably would be the only company who has a leadership in all this category and has a big install base globally. And all these products coming together and delivering a true XDR for you, which actually helps you to protect your investment for next 5 to 10 years. Last thing, and this is where the cybersecurity industry is moving. So far in cybersecurity industry, we were saying that OEMs like us were manufacturing a solution, we are giving it to distributor, distributor give it to partner, partner give it to customer. A lot of job of making those products work was left out to customer to an extent, to an extent to a partner. That has changed completely. We have realized in the world of cloud, in the world of new generation technologies which are delivered through SaaS model, it's not possible to only provide you a product without having a professional services. So we launched our Service 1, which is combination of multiple services, which is red teaming services, IR services, deployment and migration services, a lot of consulting services in conjunction with local partners globally to make sure that you keep on seeing the value in the product. So our job is not to give you product alone, but we jump together, we work together to make sure that you keep on seeing the success in the product that we have. The good news for you is one of the biggest investment and one of the biggest team that we have is in Philippines. We have around 1,500 to 1,800 engineers, probably one of the biggest investment outside Japan or Taiwan that we have globally is in Philippines. So we have a big investment, big commitment to Philippines as a country that we have made. I think we are very proud of what we have invested in Philippines. I'm sure you should be proud, and basically as a customer you should be leveraging these capabilities that Trendmicro do have, because these are the engineers who are developing a lot of products and are responsible for global delivery for the customer across the world. So they are one of the best people. Just last thing, just to summarize or what I just said, remember, you don't have to compromise between best of the breed versus consolidation. If you really want to achieve XDR, choose the right partner, integrate best, and still you have to achieve XDR. So don't have to compromise. You don't have to buy endpoint security solution though it's not good, but since it helps you to achieve XDR, but not best in the class, maybe it's a compromisal position that you're taking. Number two, don't only depend on next generational detection technologies, which is AI based, ML based. You still have to depend and still very relevant signature based and behavior based technologies, sandboxing technologies, they are still very, very relevant. So any technology which is giving you best of this two world is the best way to have detection and remediation capabilities. Third thing, as I was saying, zero trust. Of course, this is a way to go. You have to make sure that you are moving forward this identity based access, all the solution which helps you to do this, you should be deploying on that. And last but probably the most important thing, do not, as I was talking about, try and differentiate on what actually is a product and what actually is a feature. EDR and sandboxing, they were never designed to be an independent product. They were supposed to be a feature which were supposed to get merged into an existing technology. So please choose the right partner. If you really want to invest with the right partner who will be protecting all the investment for you, and the product that you buy today you will keep on using for next 5 to 10 years. And probably I believe that Trendmicro is one such partner. If you invest with us, a lot of your investment will stay with you and will be able to justify and stay with you for a longer period of time. So with that, thank you very much. I hope this was not very exhaustive session, but we have a lot of other things to catch up on. You can ask any questions, you can write a mail to us, you can get in touch with our marketing if there is one particular area that you are interested to know more.